So Donald Trump just put out a tweet, and the tweet, well, he retweeted a video, and the video that he retweeted was of, or shared, or whatever it ended up being. That video was of his supporters saying white power. They were yelling white power and saying re-elect Trump. Later on in the video, people were calling them bigots and racists. And the White House put out a statement in response to that and said that he did not see that. He didn't see that, or whatever. He didn't see them saying white power. And I'm not giving a sham here. Like, I have to use my induction. I have to, like, try to reason and think logically about this, because there could be a possibility that you know, if somebody tweets out something that they're just like retweeting, they didn't see it. But, like, as soon as you click on the video, within 3 seconds, like, you hear them yelling white power. And he, like, commented on the video, like, calling the people great and thank you for supporting me, because it was in Florida. He was like, thank you to my Florida supporters in that town. So I think that he definitely saw the video. And I have to ask myself, why would you retweet that? Why would you retweet that? Like, what would make you think to retweet that? So the only reasoning that I can come up with is something that I've known for a long time. I think he's a racist. I think he's a racist. Now, I can get into another video about him being a racist, but I'm gonna skip over that right now and talk to you what this is really about. This is about when you see his supporters and how they want Donald Trump no matter what. It's because they don't want America to change, and America is changing. All of this anti-globalism, nationalism, America first, make America great again, anti-immigrant, keep jobs here, etc., etc. All of that is the fear that America is changing, because it is. It's changing. And people are starting to wake up to the fact, just two things I'm going to talk about concerning this video, that America has not always been a great country. It has not always been a great country. And that the second thing I want to talk about is that in the culture of America is changing. And when I say that America has not always been a great country, let me explain what I mean. For the last 50 years, America has been a decent country. A decent country. And that's the truth. And I know that from the time that we're young, we were taught that America has always been a melting pot, and that it's always been an amazing country, and that people could do whatever they wanted in America. But when you look if you look, I would even say 1980s, anytime before the 1980s, America was not a free country. It was not a free country. There is a nonprofit that ranks countries according to their freedom or whatever. And it explains the metrics of what a democracy in a free country looks like. And if you look at those metrics and you point to, you know, even 1980s America, or 60s, 50s, 40s America, it was not a free country. It was a authoritarian country that pumped the people. We talk about North Korea, we talk about China, we talk about Russia, and how they use state propaganda to make their citizens believe something. Let's talk about how much propaganda has gone to American citizens over time to make them believe that America has always been a great country. America has been great for the people that live in, for a small selection of people that had lived inside of the borders of America. America has been a disaster for the entire world, for the majority of the world. It has been a disaster. And let me explain what I mean by that. The Middle East has suffered because of America. Iran has suffered because of America. Okay? If you go back and look at the history, we've been taught that Iran is a super bad guy. And I'm not saying that they're perfect or anything, that they're a free country, because they're most definitely not. But we've been taught that in the nature of the conflict between Iran and the United States, that Iran is to blame. But if you go back, the first one to intervene was us, when we overthrew their democratically elected leader via the CIA to steal their oil, pretty much. and install a puppet dictator to instill their oil. And it's been bad ever since then, with a lot of the aggression coming from us. And I'm just being honest here. Latin America has suffered because of the United States and interventionist foreign policy and regime changes and supporting these kind of wars. America, the world has suffered. Africa has suffered because of America. Has suffered. So a lot of regions of the world have suffered because of the existence of America. And if you notice what these regions have in common is that they're black and brown. You know, and I'm not playing identity politics. I'm just saying what the truth is. The perspective that people don't want to look at. Inside of America, in the 1980s, the Supreme Court ruled that gay sex was illegal, could be illegal in countries, and that people could go to jail for that. The police were still going out and doing sting operations to test and see if people were gay, if guys were gay, and luring them to have sex. And when the, guy came in thinking that he was gonna, have sex with another guy or an intimate encounter with another guy, ended up being a police officer, and the police officer arrested them. That's authoritarian, am I right? That is evil at its finest, am I right? The segregation laws were around up until about the 1960s. The separate but not equal laws. And before that, there was slavery. In the I think it was 1930s, the United States government put Japanese people in concentration camps. And up until like the 1960s, 1970s, the United States was actively taking Native Americans from their family and sending them to re-education camps. So I don't know where people are getting this propaganda idea that America has always been a great country, because it most certainly has not. It most certainly has not. And today, is it a decent country? And it is not. It is not because of the Constitution. I'm just going to let you know the truth. It is not because of the Constitution. It is because people have fought for their rights. Because North Korea has a constitution that guarantees their citizens free speech, etc., etc., etc. And you don't see us making excuses for North Korea the way that we make them for the United States, saying, well, it always was, supposed to be a free country. It just didn't quite live up to that. No. So America has, it's partly the awakening of people that America has not always been a great country, that's making these people that support Donald Trump behave the way that they're behaving. And then the other part of it is the fact that America is changing and that they don't want change because they want to preserve this culture. But what do they mean by culture? Because when you make an immigration quota based off of culture, and I'm not talking about, there's a difference of being a citizen and being able to come here and get a job. A citizen has the right to vote, right? Someone that wants to come here, get a job and work because what's going on in their country is terrible, I don't see why that's a bad thing. I don't see why they should have to conform to any culture. I don't see why they should have to assimilate to anything. I mean, of course they should learn English, but it's not because like English is a better language or something weird like that, people, these neocons are saying. Like, it's because, most people speak English here, and you have to be able to speak English to communicate and transact business and work, etc. So, but they shouldn't have to like change what they eat, watch how they act, behave, etc. to like fit in. And what do you mean by that? Like, whose culture? Because African American culture is different from white American culture, and Asian American culture is different, and Latino American culture is different. So, like, when you say assimilate, are you saying that we all need to assimilate to white American culture? That's what I'm asking. I'm like, so are you saying everybody needs to? And culture is like your values, your belief systems, the way that you behave. So you're saying that everybody needs to act like white people. Is that what you're saying is the condition? I'm just trying to understand what they mean by that, that the culture is a problem. So they don't want those things to change. And when they speak about culture, it is de facto about race. De facto. So I'm hoping for an America that I can believe in. And when when you see people like Trump being put into power and coming out with the things that he says, like that tweet, a lot of it has to do with the fact that America is changing. And just a point of hope is it's like the last dying breath of the people who are opposed to diversity, opposed to any differences. This is like their last attempt to try to keep and hold on to power. So, yes, the Trump tweet was racist, and I encourage you to check it out. And I believe that those are the two reasons why he tweeted it. I believe that it was because he is trying to appeal to the kind of people that think that way, that are upset about America changing, that want the culture to remain the same, and that don't want America to be perceived in any way than the propaganda they've been fed.